Today's episode has been brought to you by Schedulicity.
Hello and welcome to the Connected Yoga Teacher Podcast. I'm your host, Shannon Crow. I'm a mom of three, a yoga teacher, and a trainer and consultant who works for yoga teachers. This podcast was created for you so that you can connect to the information and inspiration that will keep you going every single week as a yoga teacher and also an entrepreneur. On a totally personal note, I want to give a huge birthday shout out to my oldest son, Wyatt. His birthday has passed by the time this episode goes out, but it feels like a really big one. I was 22 when I had Wyatt, and he is turning 22. And of all the birthdays, I didn't really think that this would be one of the ones that would make me sit back and take notice. I thought, it's more so around turning 16, being able to drive a car, moving out, birthdays. But this one feels like something. So for all of you who have children who turned a certain age, the age of when you had them, or if you have little kids and you think, oh my gosh, I can't imagine that day. Yeah, so I just wanted to share that personal note with you about being a mom right now and what's kind of going on in my mind as I record this for you. What's also going on in my mind is thinking about how I can help you to fill your September yoga classes or the next yoga offering that you have. If you're listening in real time, it's August of 2020. It's usually one of the slowest months that we have for signing students up for yoga. Not many people want to go to yoga here in North America, at least. They're outside doing things. And September is one of those months where people usually are really craving routine. And so today I want to share a secret with you that I have been using in my own yoga business for years, and I forget about it all the time. I share this with yoga teachers that I work with one-on-one in consultation calls, and sometimes they forget about it as well. And this is why I wanted to make sure to do an episode just on this one secret. And I say it's a secret, but I talk about it quite a bit on the podcast and in my consultation calls. So it definitely is a secret that I want you to take and use in every offering that you have, especially when you're struggling to fill that yoga class or fill that course or that training or that workshop. Now, I have labeled this the sticky note secret, but it could also be the piece of paper near your desk secret, or the very first thing to pop up on your computer. And the first thing that we need to do in this is I want you to imagine your next yoga offering, whatever that is, whether it's a workshop, a class, a course, a training, maybe something you've invented completely, maybe a series, a registered session. What is that offering that's really next on your list, next thing that you're promoting? If you are a person who likes to take notes, you might write down just the name of the offering. Don't get stuck on that. It might be like my next 6-week session. We're not worried about naming it right now. Then I want you to think of the minimum number of people that you would like to have in this yoga offering. Now, when I say minimum, I'd like you to consider, what are your expenses? What's your hourly rate? What do you need to get paid for the time that you are going to spend and invest in this yoga offering? A lot of the time when I've worked with studios or teachers, a magic number happens around 6 or 7 people where we see that, okay, yes, now I start to either break even or make a profit. Now, a little side note here, if you are looking at how to book more one-on-one sessions, your minimum number will be how many sessions you book in a week or a month. So we definitely want to take a look at the money side of things in this, but we also want to take a look at, what does it feel like to show up and teach this number of people? Let's say we're teaching an outdoor class in the park, and we really like the energy of having at least 4 to 6 people. So what would be the ideal number there? I don't want to teach this thing or do this thing unless I have this minimum number. So jot that number down, and then I want you to think about the maximum number. Now let's come back to the example of, let's say, a 6-week series, and we've established that we want to have a minimum of 6 people attending that series with us. And what is your maximum number? So first, Usually we don't have like this idea around maximum in terms of finances. We think, well, 100 people would mean that I get paid more. More so that maximum number is what are the restrictions on your space? Right now, we're looking at what are the restrictions set by our state or our province or our country around how many people can be together in a space with everything COVID-19. So we look at that as well. And usually a big factor in what's that maximum number is how many people do we feel comfortable teaching at one time. So a great example of this is on Zoom. Usually you can see 16 squares, including your own. So some teachers will say, I like to have a maximum of 15 people on Zoom. Or I really like to create more of a connection with my students, and I feel like I can do that if I have this number of students, maybe 10 or 6. I think a lot of the time we don't think about this number. I worked with a lot of yoga teachers when we first moved online who were saying, my Zoom account will allow for 100 people, so maybe I should just make my maximum number 100. And I would say to them, okay, that seems like a really high number. What would it feel like to register 100 people and to have 100 people jumping in and possibly their audio comes in and out, or they're chatting, or they're wondering, or they're texting, how do I get online with you here? And then what is their experience as that student? Are they feeling like they're just in the sea of yoga students and you don't even speak directly to them? How many yoga students would you normally teach in person? And what is the feeling that you want your yoga students to walk away with? So factor all of that in. When we set this maximum number, there's a magic thing that happens. We start to get closer to that goal. Let's say that you have a minimum of 6 students and a maximum of 10. The next time you open that session or that yoga offering, you know that you need to get to 6 to continue to do this work. So you work really hard to get to that. Once you get to that 6, you only have 4 more spots. It completely flips everything around. It means that once you get 7, 8 people, you can then let your email list know and let your Facebook friends know, okay, there are only 2 spots left in my class. And then you can also let them know when it's full, and you can start to put them into other classes or other offerings, or they'll know the next time, gosh, I better sign up for that quickly. It filled. Now, I want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, Schedulicity, right in this moment, because they actually have something in their booking software that I love to see. When yoga students go to register, they'll go to sign up, and as things start to get filled up, it will let students know 2 spots left, 1 spot left, or it's completely full. No more people can register, but they can go on the wait list. So this is a great time as well for us to have a listen to our sponsors' hot tip of the week.
Hey there, connected yoga teachers. This is Caitlin with the Schedulicity Hot Tip of the Week. Try out Schedulicity's waitlisting if your workshops are filling up. When someone tries to book space online for a workshop that's full, they'll be invited to join the waitlist. You'll see them in the order in which they join, so you can easily work on a first-come, first-served basis. If you have a cancellation, you can pull your waitlist clients into your workshop and they'll automatically be sent a notification telling them that they made the cut. Keep your workshops full without keeping your roster on your mind.
Thank you so much, Team Schedulicity, for all of the work that you are doing in supporting our yoga teachers and other small businesses right now. Thank you for pausing all payments until September the 1st. It's really such a generous thing. So if you're wondering what Schedulicity is, now is a great time to go and check it out because it's free until September the 1st. Okay, so to come back, we're setting our minimum number and our maximum number for yoga students. One good question that I love to ask, if money was not a factor in this at all, what would your ideal class size be? And I would make that your maximum number. Personally, my maximum number of people that I want to teach to is 1 person. I prefer to teach one-on-one private yoga. I've talked about it on the podcast before. So I'd love for you to think of, if money was not a consideration at all, what would be the ideal number of people that you would teach to? Now, I just want to address some of the roadblocks that come up here. Usually it's around that minimum number. So let's say you set your minimum number at 6 people and you say to me, well, Shannon, 2 people love my class and they always attend my class on that Tuesday night. So I'm afraid that if I say I need 6 people or I won't run it, that they won't get their yoga, that I'll be turning people away, that I won't be growing my business, that I'll lose my spot at the studio. Let these things motivate you to get to that number of 6 people. I know that you can do it. Tell those 2 people, I really want to run this session. I love hanging out with you. I need 4 more people. Do you know anyone else who would be interested in signing up for this class? Another roadblock that I think happens is that sometimes we think, you know what? I didn't sign up for selling to people all the time. I didn't sign up for all this marketing, and it shouldn't be so hard to convince people to go to yoga. I agree. And it takes practice, and you are going to get better at this. You are going to figure things out, and you will do this when you have that minimum number set. Too often, I'm seeing yoga teachers showing up to teach and not even getting paid minimum wage. You deserve this. You have worked hard for this. You have taken so many trainings, and I want to see you set financial goals and be able to meet those goals. So another note, if you're like me and you want to teach one-on-one private yoga, you are going to look at your week, an average week, and see how many spots could I fit in maximum? How many people could I work with in a day or in a week and not feel burnt out or not feel like I couldn't give the other things in my life the attention that it needs? This is a really amazing exercise. A lot of the time I'll work with yoga teachers who will say to me, Shannon, I want to teach one-on-one yoga. And I say, great. How often or where in your calendar do you have the time to work with these people? And I tell them, let's look at your calendar right now in an average week, or let's say in a few weeks when you clear some of those things off. Where can you fit those people in? This is usually a light bulb moment. This is usually where people say to me, oh my gosh, I can only fit in 4 people a week. And just to clarify, I'm just pulling 4 as a number out of a hat. Everyone's week is different. Everyone's number is different. But the general thing that happens in that moment is that they start to realize in order to teach more people, if that's what they want to do, they have to clear out other things. Maybe it's a group class that's really struggling along. Maybe it's a part-time job and they're going to ask for a decrease in hours. And a lot of the time, it's dedicating time to work on the business. A dentist sets up their schedule and they set their hours and they work on their business and they take people in this amount of time. I want you to think about your business this way. If you set every Tuesday to seeing one-on-one people, you do not have a booking, that's the time when you figure out how to get people in and booked with you. So in summary, if you are wanting to teach one-on-one yoga, let's look at the next month for you. So the next 30 days, what would be the minimum number that you could book in, and what would be your maximum number in the next 30 days? For everyone else filling a course, a workshop, a class, a session, a training, what's your minimum and maximum number? Once you have those settled in your mind, then I want you to either pull out a piece of paper and write down the numbers, 1 to whatever your maximum number is, or pull out sticky notes. So I love to use sticky notes because I can put the person's name on the sticky note and I can also write down some other details, but you could do the exact same thing with a piece of paper. I'll tell you from experience that a spreadsheet on my computer just doesn't do the same thing. It gets hidden in my documents. So unless it's the very first thing that pops up on your screen and it's all you can see, it just won't be as effective. So the placement of this piece of paper or your sticky notes or this document on your computer, if you have no paper in your house, the placement of this is so important. I want it to be the first thing that you see when you sit down in your office or at your table or wherever it is that you work really well. And if you move around to work, take it with you. Can you put it somewhere in your bullet journal, on a notebook? Can it be the first thing that you flip to when you start working that day? And the very first question that I want you to ask yourself when you sit down and look at this list is, can I think of anyone right now who's either told me that they're interested in this offering or who I just think is a great fit? For example, if you're running a prenatal yoga series and you have 3 friends who are pregnant, write their name down in pencil. That penciled in name means I'm going to reach out to this person personally and let them know about this offering that I have. And let me tell you an example that happened this week with exactly this for my Yoga for Pelvic Health training, which starts in September. 3 people have told me that they're interested. They messaged me last year and I wrote their name down on a sticky note in pencil and put it up on my wall on my Yoga for Pelvic Health list. When I reached out to one of these people this week, I don't think to myself, oh gosh, I'm bugging this person. Do they want to sign up? I'm thinking, I have done my work here for customer service. They told me the next time you run this, let me know. And so I reached out to this person and we're friends on Facebook. So I did it in Facebook Messenger because we've messaged there before. So I just wrote a very quick note to say, hey, so-and-so, I remembered that you had told me that you're interested in the next Yoga for Pelvic Health training. I wanted to reach out to you to see if you have any questions and to also ask if you have seen that it's happening online this year instead of in person. They wrote back right away like, hey, how's it going? I also added in a personal note there as well where I was just asking, a few other questions between friends. And it was this really nice conversation. And overall, the conversation was, thanks so much for getting back to me. Thanks for following up with me, Shannon. I can't fit it in this year, but please keep me in mind for next year. So this is something that maybe if you are trying to fill 100 spots in a course, you need a special file folder or a spreadsheet or even a software that organizes customer management. But my guess is right now, a lot of you who are listening are like me, where I have 20 spots in my training and it's easy for me to have 20 sticky notes up in front of me. And then I know who I need to get in touch with. So when you write those names down in pencil, you're not bugging people. You have created an offering that is helping and serving people. So that was a long way to say, who's a good fit for this? The second thing I want you to ask yourself is, how can I fill these spots? And that will be something that you ask yourself each and every day. A really quick list here is, have you created a Facebook group? Have you told all of your social media friends about this? Do they know? Could they find it? Could they share it? Is the link in your bio? How would they sign up? Where is the information for them on social media? Have you sent an email out to everyone? And has it just been about registering for this one thing? I know a lot of you, myself included, it's very tempting to give a lot of content and then at the bottom of that email to say, oh, and here's how you sign up for my next session. I want you to make it the highlight of that email. Your email can still be conversational. Let's say that you focus on yoga for sleep. You might start to tell a story of how you learned that yoga is a really great tool for you to get more sleep. And then if people want to find out more, they can find out about your session. So you can still have some conversation in there for people. It doesn't have to just be, here's a session, here's how you sign up for it. But I'd like the entire focus to be about that one session and only one call to action. So that means that you're not saying, here, check out my YouTube video that I did for you, and I really like this book this week, and also here is how you sign up for my Yoga for Sleep session. The other part I want you to remember about this is that when you don't hear back from people, it is not, no, I'm not signing up. So recently I saw a really amazing offering by one of our connected yoga teachers. And I thought, ooh, that's so cool. I need to remember to sign up for that. I really am interested. And guess what? Time went by. I didn't see another email. I completely forgot about it. And then I saw a post on Instagram that it had started. And I thought, oh, shoot, I missed it. So you might be planning more posts on social, sending out more emails, and you are doing your yoga students a service. You are reminding them if they want to attend. Sometimes I start with this step first. And this needs to be the last step in this whole series of things. Sometimes I start with, how do I get people to sign up for this? And I dive in and I make that Facebook event, or I send out that email. And you know what? It doesn't work the same way. That's why I'm saying it's a sticky note secret. It's not a secret, but for some reason, even I forget about it. Even I forget to go back to the basics. So here's the recap. Set your minimum number, set your maximum number, then put it where you can see it visually, this list all the way up to your maximum number of people. And then every time you look at that list, you're asking yourself 2 questions. Who's a good fit for this that I can think of right now? I'll write their name down in pencil. Once they're registered, you'll write their name down in pen. And the second question is, how can I get more people to sign up for this? The great thing about that second question is you might exhaust all of your ideas that day. You might make a Facebook post, send out an email, and be like, okay, I think that's it. And the next day, because our brains are really good at figuring out puzzles when they have some time and they have some walks out in nature or have some time for meditation or yoga, some time away, some rest, then you might have this idea come up, oh, I could do this video and talk about these 3 things and then tell people how they can sign up for it. So let's do this together. I'm super excited about it. If you create a wall of sticky notes or a list, tag me, take a picture, tag me in it or send it to me, or let me know maybe in our Connected Yoga Teacher Facebook group or anywhere on social media. Okay, doing the sticky note secret, Shannon, here we go. I want to hear from you if you get stuck at some point in this, and also when you start to fill those classes. People right now need the benefits of yoga. Think of what yoga has given you over the years and think about how this is such a gift for people who are feeling overwhelmed and stressed and needing some kind of a routine. A huge thank you to our team over here, Suzanne, Crunch, Nick, and Sinead, for doing so much work behind the scenes to make the podcast possible and also to really take care of our Connected Yoga Teacher community. If you are wanting to meet up with me, the next training that's happening starts September the 5th of 2020. It's the Yoga for Pelvic Health 20-hour teacher training. It's usually only ever held in person. I've only ever done it in a little tiny town in Ontario, but this year it's able to move online. If you are looking for information on that, you can go to theconnectedyogateacher.com, look under trainings and events. Thank you also, dear listeners. Your time is really valuable. I hope that this episode gets you motivated to fill your classes. I want to hear about it. I also want to know what you will be doing this week to stay connected to yourself, your yoga practice, and to your community so that you can share the yoga that lights you up.